Hello, my dear students and viewers. Welcome back to my channel, Scorpio class. So here I am with one more informative and very important video for all my dear viewers, especially my Sslc students. Yes, as you all know, we are going on with the series of passing package of first language English chapters for the year 25-26. So here I am with the video of the chapter The Girl Who Was Anne Frank. All the important questions of different marks of different type will be discussed in this video so that it becomes easier for you to prepare for your exams, and most of the questions are the repeated questions which were asked in the previous exams. So let's get started without any ado. But before that, if you are watching my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notification of all the upcoming videos, and also consider clicking the thanks button below the video so that it helps us motivate to make more such videos. So let's get started now. This is one of the very important chapter from the textbook The Girl Who Was Anne Frank, and there are number of questions which are asked from this chapter. So let's quickly check out all the different categories of questions asked from this lesson. So very firstly, we are going to check out with the 1 mark questions. First question, what did the Anne Frank record in her diary? Answer, Anne Frank recorded her life in the annex with all its inevitable tensions and quarrels. She created a wonderful and delicate record of youth with complete honesty of a young girl's thoughts and feelings. Next, who was Mr. Van Daan? Answer, Mr. Van Daan was a fellow refugee whom Otto Frank took in as a partner in his firm. Okay, so Otto Frank was the father of Anne Frank. Now, next question. What was Anne's father? Like, what was his profession? So, answer, Anne's father, Otto Frank, was a banker living in Germany. Next, how does Annie try to keep the diary a secret? Answer, Annie wanted to keep the diary a secret from everyone. So she used to hide them in her father's briefcase. Now let's move on to 2 mark questions. First question, write about Anne's pathetic physical state in the concentration camp. Answer, she was cold and hungry, her head shaved, skeleton form draped in coarse and shapeless. She was pitifully weak body, racked by typhoid fever. Next, which qualities of Mr. Frank did his staff admire? Answer, Mr. Frank's staff admired him for his warm personality. They admired his courage and clear care he took to give his 2 girls a good education. Next, how did Anne describe her life in Annex? Answer, Anne compared herself a songbird whose wings have been cruelly torn out and who is flying in utter darkness against the bars of its own cage. Next question. What finally forced Frank to go into hiding? Answer. Early in July 1942, Margot Frank was called up for leave but did not go. This forced Frank to go into hiding. So now we are moving to 3 mark questions from this chapter. Now, one more thing, my dear viewers, if you all want to see the explanation of this chapter, it's already been uploaded in my channel under the playlist. You can go through the each and every explanation of each and every chapter from your text. I'll also share the link in the I button above of this particular chapter's explanation so that it will be helpful for you to understand the chapter and then go through these important questions. So now let's move on to 3 mark questions. First one, how did the young people and the students respond to a Hamburg student in March 1957? Answer, more than 200 young people eagerly answered his appeal. Hundreds pedaled on bikes, 120 kilometers in lashing rain. Standing in front of one of the mass graves, a 17-year-old schoolgirl expressed what all felt. Anne Frank was younger than them when her life so horribly ended. She had to die because others had decided to destroy her race. Next question. How did the Diary of Anne Frank succeed where German administrators had failed? Answer. The post war administrators had failed for years to make people realize the senseless and the criminal nature of the Nazi regime, but they had failed. The Diary of Anne Frank succeeded in doing what the administrators had failed to do. Now we come to four markers of this chapter. The four mark important questions. First one. How did Anne's diary open the eyes of Germans to the violence racial presentation? Answer. When Anne's diary was published and when it was enacted as a play in Germany, there was a remarkable reaction from the people. Packed audiences received her tragedy in a silence heavy with remorse. People never went out during the interval as they felt ashamed to face each other. The Germans accused themselves for the treatment allotted out to Jews by the Nazis. The Diary of Anne Frank succeeded in making them open their eyes to the viciousness of racial presentation. Next question, next long question from this chapter. What glimpses of Nazi cruelty did the Frank family experience? Explain. Answer. Adolf Hitler in 1933 began issuing anti-Jewish decrees which made all the Jews in Germany to either migrate to other places or go into hiding. People hid in the dark or airless rooms without proper food or air. When they were arrested by the Nazi police, they were taken to the Nazi concentration camps and tortured to death. Nazi had no compassion for women and children too. In fact, children were made to stand naked in freezing rain before being sent to the gas chamber. Third question. Describe Anne's life in the annexure as written by her. Answer. She described life in the annexure with all its inevitable tensions and quarrels. She created a record of adolescence with honesty, young girls' thoughts and feelings, her longingness and loneliness. She compares herself to a songbird whose wings has been torn out and is flying in utter darkness against the bars of its own cage. She was isolated from outside world for nearly 16 months. Her diary reveals the trust she had on her father. She was sad that her mother did not understand her feelings. Okay, so these were important long questions for 4 marks. Now let's move to reference to context. So there are some important reference to context from this chapter. Let's check out. First one, I feel like a songbird where wings have brutally torn out. Answer, the above lines are taken from the lesson The Girl Who Was Anne Frank by Louis D. Jong, set by Anne Frank. In 1933, when Hitler came to power, he starts issuing anti-Jewish decree one after the other. Thereafter, Otto Frank, Anne's father, immigrated to Netherlands. Later in 1942, when Margot, Anne's sister, was called for leave, they went in hiding in her diary. In her diary, Anne recorded her thoughts and feelings, her longings and loneliness, and she compared herself to a songbird. Okay, so this is the context where this statement was said. So let's move to the next one. In spite of everything, I still believe that people are good at heart. The above line is taken from the lesson The Girl Who Was Anne Frank, written by Louis D. Jong. The above words were said by Anne Frank from the atrocities committed by the Nazis on the Jews. It talks about the quality of compassion, love, and forgiveness in the lesson towards the Germans. So here we come to an end with all the important types of questions from this chapter. I hope this video was helpful, meaningful, and interesting for you all. If this video has helped you to learn and prepare and study better, please support us by clicking the thanks button below, because your small help means a lot to us and it keeps us motivated to come up with more such videos. So that's it for this video. We'll be back soon with one more new video with new question answers and passing package of the next chapter. So till then, stay tuned and take care.